The day-to-day has been incredible. It's been great to connect with different people in the gaming space.
Seeing people face to face, you are reminded of the energy, the passion and love people have for the craft that we do.
As we were waiting for our picture to be taken and having these interviews, in between all of those things, it's just been really great to talk to other tremendously talented, opinionated, enthusiastic, driven people.
I've just been thrown into an amazing bunch of people, some of them that I was aware of, but I'd never met any of these people before.
We've all made our route in different ways and we've had various inspirations, but we also have common ground.
It's made experiences that I've had feel validated, but it also makes dreams that I have feel possible. My name is Jayan Lopez, and I am the founder and CEO of Black Girl Gamers, which is a community-powered organization that specializes in heightening Black women's voices and visibility and equity in the gaming space.
My name is John Lau. I am a game producer and designer, and I am currently working for a London-based studio called Us Two Games.
My name is Leah Mwanga Magoye. I'm a narrative designer.
My name is Taiwo Omishore. I am an app developer.
My name is Lily Ibrahim and I am a lead artist working for Us Two Games.
I'm Adam Campbell. I work for Macadamia as Director of Product.
Hi, my name is Jay Shin. I'm the co-founder director of an indie studio called Arrogant Pixel. I'm also the course leader at the University of West London.
I'm Haroon Thantre. I am a sound designer and I currently work at Codemasters. Ensemble today has been really incredible. It's great to meet some of the great talent and minds in the video games industry, particularly seeing the diversity that we do have.
Ensemble is a fantastic initiative to meet like-minded gamers from underrepresented backgrounds, so people can know that, look, there are people that look like me, that sound like me, that are the same background as me, that are in this industry that I'm so passionate about and I want to be a part of.
I am absolutely the proof that Ensemble is effective. I know that I would not have felt as confident, as driven, as empowered if I hadn't gone to the exhibition in 2018. Being able to see myself in the industry by virtue of seeing that, it made me feel welcome. It made me feel invited in.
It's been a really interesting day. It's a good chance to talk about our experiences as minorities in the game industry. I think a lot of these experiences have been shared, so it's really good to talk about that in a very open and honest way, and really looking forward, as are many others, to kind of showcasing ourselves and hopefully inspiring the next generation.
The origins of Black Girl Gamers are quite simple, to be honest. I was lonely and I didn't know where to find other Black women, but also I felt ostracized because of the racism and the sexism that you experience when gaming online, or even in some of the games. You didn't see Black women represented very often. So I wanted to create my own space to have a community, to find my tribe, and it started off as a Facebook group in 2015. So fast forward about almost 7 years now, we have over 8,000 members. We're a community-powered organization now, and we do a lot of things to increase Black women's equity in the space. But yeah, that's how it started. It's really, really fun. We have anime nights, we have game nights, we do workshops and mentorship programs. We source from our community to broker them as talent for brands, so there's opportunity for career development there. The workshops offer you opportunities for career development there, and it's a really just fun, diverse group that has women from all over the world.
So I've made a few apps, so I've made 8 in total. 7 of those 8 have been games, starting from my first app, Spacebots, which is a take on retro games such as Arkanoid and Breakout. More recently, one of the games that I built is a game called One Chance. And One Chance, it does exactly what it says on the tin, and you have to play 14 mini games back to back, and you only ever have one chance to play it. So I make apps away from work. So my full-time job is I work as a solutions engineer, so fixing problems with software development kits for an advertising company. I have always loved just tinkering around with creative tech. So having a computer and being able to type lines of code to see a line move or a color change from one color to another color has always been fascinating to me. I still am blown away that people choose to spend time with my apps. You know, someone recently emailed me and said I played Spacebots throughout the pandemic and it really helped me get through a tough time. So those are the kind of stories that kind of really motivate me to keep building these digital experiences.
So how did I get into games? I think I've always played games my whole life with my little brother and with my friends. I didn't think I was going to go into games. I was studying visual arts and illustration. When I finished uni, I spent about a year doing freelance illustration, and it was mainly for books and other publications and even tabletop board games. One of my friends was working for a games company and they were looking for junior artists, so I decided to apply and the rest is history. So I've been at Us 2 Games for about 2 years now. When I first joined the company, I joined the project Alba, a wildlife adventure. I was so inspired by everyone's passion towards the environmental campaign that was launched with the release of the game. To me, it was sort of a turning point in my career where I started to understand that as a developer and as a visual artist, we can make people talk about things that we care about. It made me understand as well is that if the team are happy to talk about what they care about, that can feed into the product. And for the team to really be open and comfortable to talk about their passions, then they need to feel safe. And for a diverse team to feel safe, they need to feel like they are part of a diverse group.
Games I worked on include Sniper Elite 4, Battlezone VR, Grid Legends, and Dirt 5. I particularly work on creating the sounds of 3D worlds, making sure everything sounds exciting and vibrant, really captures the player and embellishes the gameplay. My journey is quite a long one. I've been involved in audio since I was about 13 years old. I attended a charity project run in my hometown of Nottingham to try and encourage people through music to find a positive outlet. So I attended those at a young age and took a real shine towards the technical side of things. Later I went to university and I studied sound engineering. Halfway through my second year in uni, I decided to look towards games and try and pursue a career in that, as it was a great passion of mine. So over those 2 years, I taught myself how to develop games. I downloaded Unreal Engine, I looked at some middleware called Wise, and through a lot of YouTube tutorials and a lot of documentation reading, I learned how to make sound for games and really worked on it through my final year project and went on from there. It's an industry where things are always moving and things are always changing. I think that's the best thing about it for me, is that what I'm doing now and what I'm doing 5 years ago, or even what I'm doing in 5 years' time, they're all going to be completely different and very exciting in different ways.
I love story and I love audiences, and I love thinking about how to surprise and delight them and how to guide them through a path and a story. And what games allow for, or interactive allows for, is a multi-dimensional look at humanity. You're able to widen the scope of who people get to be and how they get to understand why other people behave the way they do, which is fascinating and humbling and funny and angering. It's just the most wonderful thing to create. But I love also that I can't do it on my own, that it has to be collaborative. And I love being pushed by the other creatives and considering their point of view and then just pushing the thing across the line as a group. I adore that. I don't know that there's a typical route into the industry. I think mine is less typical than most, and it was just a series of incredibly fortunate events. But I will say that the catalyst was in 2018, being able to see myself potentially in the industry by virtue of seeing that Ensemble exhibition.
My journey goes back quite a long way. I was 11 years old and I realized that video games is an industry which is an incredible blend of art, science, music, and technology. And I was really intrigued by the types of worlds that could be created in that format. So I aspired to get into games, sort of through a technical route. So for one day I'm going to study computer science and then from there go into the video games industry. In terms of going from university to my first job, I was quite fortunate because I managed to do a work placement in between my studies. So getting that first foot in the door was definitely a big advantage for me. The video games industry hasn't always been very diverse, and it also favours people who are living in capital cities, have more money. But I think it's important for an industry to continue growing and to produce the best and most original content that we allow people from all walks of life to get jobs in games. It's great being part of something which people love. It's entertaining, it's creative. I've met some of my best friends in the industry, and coming up to 14 years, here's to the next 14.
I didn't study video games at all. It's not something that I fell into because I definitely pursued a career in it at some point. But it was probably when I first started just sort of making stuff, graphics products, software. When I met my business partner in about 2007, there was no concept of a career in my mind at the time. We just started making small little projects, little games. I started learning 3D modeling at that point, and it's all just been a very organic journey since then, really. I'm really proud of the projects that my company have created, or I myself have been involved in, because they are definitely labour of love. That's the one thing that I'll say. The people that are working in my company are really special. They are not industry vets. They're not hugely experienced producers and creators, really. I mean, but as creative people, they're one of the best people I know. They come from all sorts of backgrounds in music, filmmaking, but we're kind of united by a love of video games and creating them. The thing that makes it really special is that I'm making really cool stuff with my friends. Yeah.
In terms of games that I worked on recently, the last game that I shipped was called South of the Circle. That was a strongly story-driven narrative adventure set in Antarctica in the 1960s, and I was the creative producer. There were no polar bears in Antarctica, no. What a producer does on a game can actually vary from studio to studio, so it's quite a difficult thing to define. I would say, in very pragmatic terms, a producer is responsible for delivering the game and making sure that everyone who is working on the game knows what they're supposed to be doing, when they're supposed to be doing it, and how long they have to do it. What makes a good producer? I'd say I'd probably answer on two levels. On a basic level, a producer needs to be thorough, methodical, organized. But I think on another, a producer fundamentally needs to be compassionate. You have to be able to understand that the team is made up of fallible, human, emotional people, all of whom have their individual needs. And the interaction between them and the structures that they're working within is a really important thing to understand. I'm working in a medium where the likelihood of creating something that has never been seen before is much, much higher than any other medium that I can think of. You couldn't really necessarily say that about film. You couldn't necessarily say that about TV, even though, this is a golden age for that kind of work to be made. But there is so much breadth and so much variety that can be explored in games that it's a tremendously exciting field to be in right now.